Welcome to Ann Arbor and the Big House, home to one of the most storied programs in college football and the first one to win 1,000 games, the Michigan Wolverines. And boy, do we have a fun one ahead. Top 10 team, target on their back, going on their road and right into the snake pit. As we'll see the #1 team in the country, the Texas A&M Aggies, taking on the 15th ranked team in the land, the Michigan Wolverines. For EA Sports College Football, Reese Davis with you alongside David Pollack and Jesse Palmer. Time to get this game started. Texas A&M set to kick off to christen this game. And they desperately wanted to attempt a return, but decided not to. Instead, they'll take the touchback. Offense getting set for first down. Give to the back. And they try the middle of this stout defense, and they rise to the challenge. On the play. Brings up second down. They got nothing on the last play. It's 2nd and 10. Quarterback checking the play. To the air, it's Dalton. Coming after him. On the run, still looking. Trying to make magic on the scramble. At the 45 on his way. He's run out of bounds. Play on that one, and it'll be a first down.
And you're seeing here the difficulties defenses have trying to contain this guy. If you leave a lane open or you don't sack him right away, you allow him to get outside the pocket, he is going to take off, and he is very difficult to tackle in the open field. He's got running back-like ability out in space.
Now they'll try to cash in this drive. 1st and 10 from the 50. From the gun. Give on the inside. And they'll bring him down after a short pickup. It's hard to find a place these days that the Big Ten doesn't touch geographically, but there's a lot of crossover with the Big Ten and Big 12 and plenty of bragging rights on the line when their schools meet.
You think about Nebraska once upon a time being in the Big 12, now in the Big 10 too. These conferences also recruit in similar areas too. So this game is interesting, David, because a lot of these players, they're familiar with each other from high school.
Yeah, and I tell you, from experience, you hate that. Like, you get to know each other, you go to the other school, like, you're now my enemy. You're not my friend anymore. So a chance to prove it, a chance for the Big 12, who's been kind of pillaged and pulled apart at times, sometimes by the Big 10. Let's go out and make a statement tonight.
Well, he does a really nice job buying time, and I love the awareness there, understanding no one's open downfield, knowing where the sticks are, and he's able to use his athleticism to get that first down.
The Wolverines are on the move. They'll try to get the edge with the toss play here. Gets him on the ground at the 28, but not before a big 10-yard pickup.
I love this guy because he brings a physicality to this Michigan offense. Boris Schembechler would have loved this guy. He would have loved to jog a few extra tight ends on the field, get the QB under center, student body right, and give this guy the football. He would have fit in perfectly with his running style. Man, he was hard to bring down.
Love seeing these early season top 25 matchups. You can get a really good feel of how good these teams are, guys.
And the intensity is going to be big too, David, because the players, you know, on these teams, they've been thinking about this game for a long time. They knew they'd have a national stage, and they got a chance to prove just how good they are.
Oh, man, make that statement. Make that early statement. We always look.
A shot toward the end zone, and he intercepts it. And they'll drag him down after a good return on the interception. Not only a great play, but tremendous discipline by this sophomore to make the pick. You can barely hear yourself thinking here as they're trying to get this defense off to a good start. And you can give all the credit to the crowd for that one. Offense, no chance, and call for the false start. The roar of the crowd trying to fuel this defense to keep them pinned in their own end. Here's the snap, looking to throw. It's complete to the right. At the 35, he's got room. A huge gain on that one before he ran out of bounds, and he has the first down.
I know it's early in the game, but defensively after that play, you know you have to tackle the catch. When this guy gets the ball in his hands, he is so dangerous after the fact. So it's okay for him to make catches. You just got to get him to the ground quickly.
That last big play, one that can really jumpstart a drive. It's 1st and 10 from the 47. Out of the gun, the give to the back. A 7-yard pickup. It'll be 2nd and 3.
You want to talk about making it easy for an offensive coordinator. You pick up a bunch of yards on 1st down, make that 2nd down really, really manageable. That's a great job by the offense.
Good spot after that 7-yard pickup on 1st down. It's 2nd and 3. The run to the left. He's brought down at the 41-yard line. It's a pickup of 5 and enough for a 1st down.
When you think Texas A&M football, man, you think running the football all the way back to R.C. Slocum, a great Aggie head coach. You just want to be the more physical team, and you want to be imposing your will. This guy right here toting the rock has the ability to wear and grind on defenses. He brings that physical presence to this offense.
Looking to move it through the air. Just a short pass to the tight end. He's run out of bounds. Ford turning in a big pickup and moving the sticks for a 1st down. Ever since they invented the forward pass, the tight ends have been running the drag and getting the 1st down.
I think it's because the tight ends is so much versatility. You know, they can block and stay in the formation, or they can release and come out. But either way, if the quarterback's patient, most of the time, that drag route's going to come open.
Fires to the big fella. And he earns a 1st down, and boy, did he earn it after taking that lift.
And that's what I love about this offense. You're not going to get all of your big chunk plays in the passing game by throwing it deep down the field. You can kind of dink and dunk, and on that RPO play, they had it dialed up and set up to go to that player in the right flat. Nice job.
With the run on 1st and goal. Knocked down after a gain of 1. They'll mark it at the 6. These fans raising the volume on 2nd and goal. The run up the middle, looking for the score. He's knocked down in the backfield. He'll lose a couple.
It's looking like they're going to have to try to throw this one into the end zone here on third down, David. Quarterback's got to be careful. Can't get greedy because you know these windows, they close fast.
Extremely tight windows. Find your big body guys that you know can win in contested situations here on third down.
Looking for the touchdown on 3rd and goal. Buying some time. Looking to the end zone. And that ball was in harm's way, and he is lucky to get that one back. They'll play it safe and try for 3. And the holder will spot it on the 14 for a 24-yard attempt. And the kicker delivers the 3 to salvage that drive. And the first points of the day come on that field goal.
I'll tell you, this is not an easy place to play on the road, especially at nighttime. This crowd, they get loud. That's the way it's been so far, but they have a nice drive to open it up. They're able to execute, to put themselves in field goal range, knock it through the uprights. They did exactly what they needed to do, taking a 3-0 lead here early on the road. That's impressive.
And here comes the Michigan offense back on the field. That last drive was promising for a while, but you just can't mess it up at the end with the pick, Jesse.
No, you got to be able to finish drives, especially in this game if you're going to win. And, David, they've got to be able to eliminate the mental mistakes.
Yeah, and I don't think you get conservative or play it safe. You can trust your guy. I think you put the ball right back in his hands and let him do his thing.
One big play to get it up near midfield. Now they're in business at the 47. To the air on 1st down. Unloads to the wideout. Complete to the left. Ripping through the defense and getting it all the way down to the 24-yard line.
And this defense is...
And wait just a second. The official is going to take a second look at this one. So the officials take a closer look, and the replay booth will overturn the call. Offense threatening, 1st and 10 from the 31. They'll try the right side. And a pickup of 8 opens a world of opportunities on 2nd and 2.
I know it's sexy to throw the football, but if you can pound it away and get these kind of gains, they will just add up, wear the defense down, get first downs, and ultimately get some points.
Got 8 on 1st down, now looking at a 2nd and 2. They'll try the run. And they make the tackle, but he has plenty for the 1st down.
And listen, the offensive line has to do their job, but a really good job by the running back, understanding where his hole is. Go hit it, get the 1st down, don't mess around. Nice job following his hole, getting positive yards.
Quarterback changing the plays at the line. Here's the handoff. And after the tackle, we are headed to the end of the 1st quarter.
That's the end of the 3rd quarter. With the score, Texas A&M 3, Michigan 0.
Second down here as they go back to work after the break. Quarterback will keep it. That's what you expect from a senior. Don't give them any extra yards. Great tackle there. Boy, they'd love to move the sticks here and take a shot at it on 1st and goal. On 3rd and short, they keep it on the ground here. And they'll race it to the house. Touchdown, Michigan!
And this running back is so dangerous down close to the end zone. He's got wiggle, he's got great vision and burst, and he showed all of those attributes right there.
Let's go to the studio now and check in with Kevin Connors. Kevin, what do you got?
Fellas, I think at least a portion of your audience will have an interest in the one that just finished up. Tennessee opened up a can, and how many times can you say you went into someone else's building and beat them by double digits? It's what happened today, and the rest of college football should take notice. It's one game. You don't want to react too much either way, but I think both teams will leave this one with some things to work on moving forward.
And Kevin Connors keeping an eye on everything all over the country. Sounds like they had a good one there. Still on his feet at the 45. And there was lots of space as he gets it to the 39-yard line.
Well, after that last play, you can see how electrifying this guy is and how special he is after he makes the catch. If I'm on offense, I'm trying to find a lot of ways to get him touches in this game.
Had to throw it before he wanted. Can't find his man as he took a shot trying to deliver that football, and it'll be second down.
Doesn't take this defense a lot of time to get to the quarterback, man. They've got speed all over the place. They hit him so quickly, and because of that, the ball falls incomplete.
On second down, he'll let it fly. Right on target this time. They'll wrestle him down just short of the first down. I don't even think they're going to bring out the chains to measure this one.
Well, we knew coming into this game, this offense was going to try and get this receiver involved and get him involved early. So here they are just finding an easy completion. It's not a touchdown, but they just want to get this guy lathered up and get him into a rhythm.
Assault continues. Got his man. And good blocking in space out there to give him enough room to pick up the first down.
Well, look, that wasn't a touchdown, but that was a massive play for this offense. They needed some momentum. They needed to find a rhythm, and what better way than converting on third down. Awesome job by the quarterback getting through his progression.
They're threatening to score, and they'll throw it. He wants it all. It's incomplete. He was shooting for the end zone right there.
The defense did a really nice job on that play, closing in on the intended target. They had two guys near that ball.
After the quarterback and receiver failed to hook up, they'll try it again on second down. Wide out in motion. On second down, he'll fire. They're setting up the screen. Didn't have much room to run and not a whole lot of help. Short gain there and still plenty of ground to cover for the first down.
Really nice job by the defense, keeping everything in front of you in that situation and rallying to the football. And now you're rewarded with third and long. So we'll see on this next play if they do the same thing here or if they sell out and bring the blitz.
On third down, going up top. Moving away from pressure. Gets away. And they'll miss the connection here on third down.
Nice job by the defense. They're mixing up their look there. Third and long in field goal range. They go zone coverage. So everybody on the back end has the eye on the quarterback, and they're able to break on the ball, force the incompletion.
Absolutely perfect. So the kickoff team is out there ready to boot it away after putting up a field goal. Let's see what the defense can do. From inside his own 10, he'll try to help out their field position. Nice job executing all of the assignments as they put a stop to that return at the 22. Guys, here come those maize and blue winged helmets on offense. You want to talk about a drive where you impose your will? That's what they did running it down for a touchdown, David.
There is nothing more demoralizing than that for a defense, to be physically pounded. The run is coming. You know it's coming, and you can't stop it.
Nothing the defense can do. That is mano-a-mano up front, and your guys getting a push. They know you're running it, and they still can't stop it.
Got stuffed on first down. It's 2nd and 10. Quarterback will audible. He's looking to throw. Fires it. And that pass picked off. He didn't get a lot on the return, but man, did he set his offense up at the 30.
This is obviously not a great start for this quarterback here. 2 interceptions already in this game. He's got to do a much better job with his decision-making.
Texas A&M has it back in the offense, ready to go to work. Guys, that last trip, a little disappointing having to take the 3.
Yeah, I think, Jesse, you see so many offenses talk about getting yards and the tempo and all the stuff they do. It was a nice job moving the football, but they got to get in the end zone this time.
Yeah, and I think to do that, they just got to be more physical at the point of attack, get some push up front. They need to be the best running team in this game to win.
Now inside the 20, 1st and 10 from the 18. He's looking to throw it. Gets rid of it. And the sophomore just a little too much on that one.
Well, the good news is he did a nice job reading the coverage. He knew exactly where to go with the football that time. Just a little bit too much on that pass. You wonder if that's just nerves. He's got to settle himself down a little.
2nd down here, and maybe they've got time to get one more snap off before the 2-minute warning. After the incompletion, they go back up top. Able to get just a few before sliding to avoid the hits. The clock has reached the 2-minute mark, and they have a chance to at least cut into this lead before the break. Really need to pick up this conversion and avoid having to settle for the field goal. They'll try to get it through the air. Buys a little time. They get enough rush, and it pays off. The sack at the 20. And this field goal team has been busy. This kicker comes out for the 3rd time tonight. And that is no good. And guys, not only a miss, but a missed opportunity to take the lead. Michigan ready to get that offense rolling again. Mistakes are going to happen, as they did on that last drive. Now, how will they respond, Jesse?
And this is the kind of guy who's going to take full accountability. That was my bad. That's on me. I'm about to lead this offense now down the field to score some points.
Dang, Palmer, I wish I would have played with you. I didn't play with many quarterbacks that was just like, yeah, my bad. Hey, guys, I got this. Sorry about that. It was more, you should have ran a better route.
Didn't get much on first down. It's 2nd and 9. Now the quarterback changing the original play call. He's going to pass on 2nd down. He's going to let one fly down the middle. Oh, and he gets downfield for the big catch. And he's brought down after a huge completion.
And what a massive play for the offense. Not only getting the football across the 50, but they've now put themselves in position to steal a few more points here before the half.
From the gun, the running back looking for room.
Yeah, and the running back didn't get much here, but, you know, you clearly want to always establish the tempo, run the football, be consistent, make that defense physically meet the challenge.
Got 3 on first down. It's 2nd and 7. He's looking to throw. Fires deep toward the end zone. And it's caught. Touchdown, Wolverines.
just love the execution by this offense. Late in the half, man, you want to take the lead. You want to get that momentum on your side, and they do it. They finish it with the passing game. And I'll tell you what, keep that passing game up, and keep this lead, keep the momentum, and keep putting up numbers.
And the PAT makes it 14-6. Quick work on that scoring drive, just 4 plays. And they cap things off with a scoring toss from 27 yards out. They got the late touchdown on the board, now about to kick it away and hoping the defense can keep them from answering. Not going to risk a return here. He'll make the fair catch. Texas A&M has it back, and we say howdy to the Aggie offense again. This late in the half, you're behind. You'd love to create something before the break to build momentum, Jesse.
You've also had some miscues on offense, a big part of why you're losing the game right now. I'd take it into halftime, make my adjustments, and come out ready in the second half.
Yeah, I'm going to take it into halftime too, Paul. But I'm trying to put some points up right here. Be aggressive, set the tone, be like, hey, listen, this is what you're going to get in the second half, so find something really quickly you can go to.
They make the stop, trying to pick up just a little bit at a time to get to that first down marker. A timeout is called as this offense tries to find a way to get more points on the board before the half. Big third down coming from their own 31. Defense tries to get off the field. Quick pass on the jet motion. They thought they could just run it on 3rd and short, but this defense was there to make the stop.
A really nice job by the defense, understanding the situation. We know they like to run the touch pass. Great job selling out, seeing it, bringing those guys right down, flying into space, getting the fast, speedy wide receiver on the ground. Nice 3rd down stop.
Make sure that there's not going to be a return on this when ball's out of bounds, and I think they'll mark it right around the 25. And here comes the Michigan offense back on the field. Guys, it's been an entertaining first half and not a lot of time left to put some more points on the board.
No, but you got this possession right here to maybe go into the half tied up. So good first half, but
can anyone catch him? And it is a chunk play, a huge gain on that one before the defense brings it to an end.
How many ways can I give to my guys who can fly, who are playmakers, and let them make big plays? This is another one you've seen. Catch the football, flip it ahead really quickly, get it to a burner, going full speed across the formation. He gets the edge, makes the big play.
Running out of time here in the first half, they're going to have to be efficient to put some points on the board before the break. He'll come out throwing on first down. Using his feet to buy time. And this sophomore able to wreak some havoc and get the sack. It has been said that the other team's quarterback must go down, and he must go down hard. And he did.
And often is good, too. The most you can get to him. But great job by the defense, rushing the quarterback, understanding pass, and getting the big fella on the ground.
And here on second down, they'll send out the field goal unit to try to get 3 before the break. The holder will put it down at midfield. A 60-yard attempt from the left side, no less. Thought he had it and couldn't get it through the uprights. He missed it. After the missed field goal, still an 8-point game, and guys, more importantly, still a 1-possession game. That's going to wrap up the first half here, and now we join Kevin with the halftime update. And the Wolverines will boot it away to start the second half. And it'll come out to the 25. No attempt at a return. Texas A&M has it back in the offense, ready to go to work. Tight game as we start the third quarter, and we'll see what type of adjustments they made at halftime.
And getting the ball first here, I think, is such a big deal. Like, I get the first chance to make a statement, to make the adjustments, to create some momentum for my squad right here in the third quarter.
Yeah, I think it's so important for this offense to set the tone here early in the second half, to get a nice drive going, build that confidence, and get your defense ready to come on out, get a stop, and change the complexity of this game.
Pushes ahead for a couple. They'll mark it at the 33.
I never know if it's grammatically correct to say a team is being out-physicaled. You hear it a lot in football, though. That's happening in this game. They are just not getting the push they need all game long up front to have any success when they decide to run it.
On 3rd and short, trying to impose their will and move the chains. Tackled after picking up the first down.
And, you know, big chunks like this don't happen unless you commit to the run game. You got to get those big boys up front into the game, understanding I want to knock people off the football, create some holes like you do here for my running back, make the game easy.
Texas A&M back to work with another first down. They'll run it to the right side. At midfield, he's got room. Oh, look out. Touchdown, Aggies. And once he found some daylight, it was time to make a house call.
I love the execution on that play. Great blocking up front just to get the ball carrier an opportunity in the second level of the defense. And then at that point, it was make a guy miss and use the speed. That was a perfectly executed play.
They got the touchdown, but now they want the 2 to tie this baby up. To the end zone, and it's picked off. Looks as if we have an injury on that last play, and we'll take a break to check him out. Lining up to cover the kick after that touchdown drive. Looking for an alley from inside his own 10. Really disciplined job by the coverage unit to get down there and make the stop at the 19. Guys, here come those maize and blue winged helmets on offense. We talk about settling for points, but sometimes when you have to settle for nothing, David, it can be demoralizing.
Yeah, and it can definitely be frustrating. And I think it leads you to say maybe I go for it.
And it's picked off again. His night vision hasn't been on par. And he's out of bounds at the 2. Almost a pick six, but they're set up on the doorstep.
That's how you got to give the defense credit, though, because with these conditions, it's not easy to catch for the offensive players, certainly not for the defense, but great eye-hand coordination securing that interception.
Fires and picked off. The 50. And after the interception, he brings it back and gets it inside the 35.
What an amazing play by the defense. Not only do you get the interception, but you completely flip the field. And how about the open field running by that guy once he made the pick?
Michigan ready to get that offense rolling again. Well, the good news about this drive, Jesse, it can't go worse than last time through a pick on the first play.
No, it certainly can't. I think one good way, David, to help your quarterback turn the page is just find him an easy completion here and let him get back into a rhythm.
Yeah, or find him an easy handoff. Just hand the football off, maybe get the ground game going, maybe jumpstart this offense a little bit.
Didn't get much done on that first play of the drive. It's 2nd and 11. He's looking to throw. Just gets rid of it to the running back underneath. They stop him almost immediately. Short gain there, and still a little ground cover to pick up the first.
I want to get my running backs the ball in space as much as possible, and sometimes it doesn't work in the running game, but I can throw it to them. I can try to create some space out wide, dump him the football, let him make some catches, and see if I can't get some big plays out of it.
This is the type of play that decides games. Are you tough enough to convert 3rd and short from the 30? From the gun, wants to pass. He took a hit as he threw it and couldn't deliver the football. It's incomplete and 4th down's coming. And they'll send the field goal team back out for the 2nd time tonight. No good. Guys, they miss a chance to stretch the lead. It's still sitting on a 2.
Look, it's sloppy out here. It's wet. The ball is slick. It's not easy to kick in these types of conditions. That's now his second missed field goal, but I know this kicker's disappointed of himself because he's good enough to make these kicks.
Quarterback touch pass on the jet sweep. Just a solid stop by this sophomore. This offense has a second down play. From the gun, he leaves it with the back. He's knocked down in the backfield. He'll lose a couple.
And I think that might be an example of the running back maybe trying to do a little bit too much. Everybody wants to try to bounce the ball outside and hit the home run, but in college football at this level, you just need to do a better job taking what the defense gives you.
And you want to know what impact home field advantage can have? There it is. The offense will walk it back. Better find the earplugs. Here comes the noise, backing this defense on third down. He's looking downfield to throw. He uncorks one deep. He's got it on the left. Big gain on that one as he steps out of bounds with a first down.
What a beautiful throw and catch on this play, and I love the job the receiver did tracking the ball in the air. Nice job of locating the throw and then hauling it in.
Trying to pound it in. And he's swallowed up at the line of scrimmage by the big defensive tackle.
You got to have that defense you know you can go to in running situations. Your base defense where you say, okay, this is where I'm going to start, and I'm going to stop the run, stuff it up front. My guys play big up front. And if I need to add some blitzes to it later on down the road, I can. But great job in the base defense making a play.
Quarterback keeps it on the sneak. Push down for the tackle. You can't hear yourself think on third and goal. He'll go to the sneak. Touchdown, Texas A&M. And that one will give him the lead.
I know it's early this year, but it's obvious this guy is a focal point in this offense. After having 2 touchdowns in his first game, he gets on the board here. Doesn't matter where he lines up, they find ways to get him the football, and defenses just have not been able to figure him out.
And he did make that extra point, no issue with the treacherous footing. From inside the 10, here he comes. Not a lot of space to be found. Good hustle by the coverage team, and they stop him at the 21. And here comes the Michigan offense back on the field. You want to talk about taking the wind out of your sails. Drive the ball down the field and miss the field goal, David.
You know what? Don't leave it up to kickers. Execute better offensively. I think you move the ball nice. You got to keep that in mind. But Palmer, I think you got to stay aggressive and don't settle for field goals.
Yeah, because you got to know there's just no margin for error right now. You just have got to be able to execute at a higher level.
6-yard pickup on first down leaves him with 2nd and 4. He's looking to throw. Fires to the tight end. And a big hit at the end, but it didn't stop him from getting the first down.
They pick up the first down on the drag route. I know that seems like a simple route, but it's actually a lot more complex than what it looks like because that route changes based on whether it's man or zone. If it's man coverage, he's flying across the field. If it's zone, he's got to sit down over the ball in a soft spot, giving his quarterback a place to go with it. Nice job of those guys being on the same page there.
And he'll step across the sidelines after making a good gain on that one.
Coaches always harp about staying ahead of the chains, and when you can run with that type of efficiency on first down, man, you are doing just that.
They can really be aggressive after that last play at 2nd and 3. Quarterback making adjustments with his receivers. On 2nd down, he's looking downfield. Nowhere close on that one as he got drilled trying to deliver the football, and now they face 3rd down.
Well, the offensive line has got to give him at least a little bit of time to survey the field. He had no chance that time, getting hit almost immediately after he got the ball.
Lining up, trying to convert this 3rd and short from the 40. They'll try to pick up the first through the air. Finds his tight end. Still running at the 40. And perhaps a touchdown-saving tackle as they get him down at the 37. That throw and catch a really good example of why coaches don't want a quarterback to get stuck on a particular target, isn't it, David?
Yep, that's exactly right. Find the guy who's open because you got so many guys that have so much speed that can do so much damage on the field. Find my matchup, get it to him, let him do the rest.
Loss of 1 on the play. 2nd down coming up. That's the end of the 3rd quarter. With the score, Texas A&M 19, Michigan 14.
Second down now as they're ready to go back to work. He's looking to throw. Fires to the wideout. For the 4th time tonight, it's an interception. And they'll close in on him after a good return on the interception.
Timing has to be so good. When you're throwing at his own defense over the middle of the field, the ball's got to come out specifically on time because these windows close really quickly. Ball there thrown a little bit late. As a result, it's an INT.
Dances away from the heat. And he will wisely throw it to the kid playing the tuba.
Know the situation, know the game of football, right? When I start to get outside the pocket, I don't see anything there. I can throw the ball away. I don't have to take a sack, get a lost yardage play. I can just throw the ball out of bounds as long as it passes the line of scrimmage. We go on to the next down. No harm, no foul.
Now on 2nd down after the incompletion. They'll go to the ground. And maybe he'll get back to the line of scrimmage, but no more than that.
Really nice job by the defense getting that last stop. All 3rd downs in games are important, but this one just feels like it's the biggest down of this game right now for this defense. If they can get off the field, they've got to give it back to their offense with as much time as possible to have a chance to win this game.
Big 3rd down as the crowd gets behind this defense. Looking to throw. Quickly complete. He gets it so close to the first down marker, but I think he's going to be a touch short.
We all want to push the ball down the field, down the field, down the field, but when you can dump it off to your running back and still make 10-plus yards, man, it makes you look like a really good play call.
This crowd bringing serious noise on this huge 4th down play. He's got him and they convert. Oh, he gave him the dead leg. Got a lot of running room. Touchdown, Aggies. And once he found daylight, it was Katie bar the door, baby. They'll try to tack one more on their score. And with the extra point, the lead is a dozen here in the fourth. And for a quick update, let's go to Kevin Connors in the studio.
All right, guys, want to update you on a game that went final moments ago. Cal found a way to rescue victory from the jaws of defeat. A perfect example of just how strong this program is. All about stacking wins there in Berkeley. A lot to go through in the film session this week for both teams. But, boy, it sure is going to be easier for the side that came away with the win.
Yeah, how about that? Sounds as if they had a good ball game there. Kevin, thanks for the update. He'll pull it down and run. At the 40, there he goes. Really nice job by this sophomore quarterback to pick up the first down with the run. The Wolverines want to move quickly.
This is why everybody grows up and wants to be an offensive coordinator and not a defensive coordinator. Because...
And that pressure just engulfed him. A sack for this defense. A big play for the defense with the first down sack. Now, advantage D as the offense comes up on second down. He's looking to throw. Unloads to the wideout. Makes the grab. Maybe this will breathe a little life into this offense, which has been flatlined in the second half. Here's 1st and 10.
Well, down 2 possessions. Good news is you get the completion. Bad news, though, did not get out of bounds. You know right now, saving the clock. That is at a premium for this offense.
And he was just a couple of steps away from taking that one even further after the catch. Going up top on first down. Can't find his man as he took a shot trying to deliver that football, and it'll be second down.
That's another example of just really good football. This is why they built the lead here in the second half. Nice job pressuring the quarterback, making him feel uncomfortable, coming into somebody else's building and keeping it really, really quiet.
Quarterback checking off. Back to the air one more time. This one's complete.
Listen, running backs are not just running backs anymore. You're going to be a wide receiver in today's football. And a great job sneaking out of the backfield, getting the football, letting them get some positive yards.
And the Wolverines will move the sticks.
Well, no real mystery there, and I think this coaching staff has a lot of confidence in their offensive line to get the push needed to give that back just a big enough crease to fall forward and get the first.
And it's so hard. My room for error is so small when I'm a defensive line. Like, I got to get off the ball as fast as I can and try to get some form of penetration. Just stop that ball from going north-south. They don't do it there, and they give up the first down.
Touchdown, Michigan! And they made it to the house where they found that 6 points waiting on them. And with the extra point, every little bit counts as they get closer. So a well-executed 8-play, 75-yard drive. And they finish it by firing one in from the 13 for the score. And he takes this from inside the 5. He was looking for some running room, but not much to be found as he stopped at the 18. Texas A&M has it back, and we say howdy to the Aggie offense again. And they've got a little bit of a cushion here, David. If they can add to it on this drive, it would be nice.
And it definitely makes a little bit of a difference. Knowing I'm up by more than a field goal, obviously, Jesse, my mindset switches, and I know I can't make mistakes.
Yeah, and David, I don't think they have to reinvent the wheel on offense here. What they've been calling has been working. Just get back to doing what you're good at.
After picking up a couple at 2nd and 8. He's looking to throw. Pressure coming. Wide open downfield. And he was loose and in the open field and on his way. A tremendous pickup on that one.
I think most offenses around the country in a situation like this with the lead late would be trying to run the football, right, or throw it short and try to bleed the clock. But this offense, man, it's still pedal to the metal. They're looking for chunk play opportunities.
Using the back as a receiver on the screen. Finally run out of bounds, but he has this offense rolling with a first down.
This is so interesting right now watching this offense stay aggressive. They've got the lead in the fourth quarter, and you're thinking at home, we got to just run the ball and try to bleed the clock. They found something on defense they're taking advantage of. 2 straight completions. I won't be surprised if they throw it again.
Goes to the option. He'll pitch it. And there were no creases or crevices to run through, and they shove him out of bounds.
This offense thinks that they have enough left in the tank here to run the football and run all the time off the clock. They got the lead late. Didn't get the first down on that last one, but it's not going to surprise anybody if they turn around and hand it off again here.
Halfway there on first down, it's 2nd and 5. The handoff, keep working on that clock. He got a bunch and looked close to getting a lot more, but he's got the first down. Quick timeout called by the defense, stopping the clock to save as much time as possible for their offense. First down here with time for maybe one more play until the 2-minute warning. Use the play fake, now to throw. Working that left side. Defense knocks him down immediately after the catch, but now they're facing a goal-to-go situation from the 7. And a chance, perhaps, to salt this game away if this offense can pay this off with a late touchdown. Touch pass on the run. Stop behind the line. He'll lose a yard.
Got to give the defense credit. Watching film, anticipating. They knew that this offense had this play in their back pocket. They knew about the speed of this wide receiver and different ways they were going to try to get him.
And he's got it for the touchdown, and that one just might do it.
And, you know, late in the games, offenses sometimes get conservative when they got the lead and they got the ball. I love this offense. They were aggressive. They got another score added to the lead. Now you're trying to salt this game away.
And with the extra point, the lead is a dozen here in the fourth. Almost ready to kick it away after scoring the touchdown.
Texas A&M 33, Michigan 21.
He'll bring it out. It's Warren. That gamble did not pay off as they bring him down at the 12-yard line. Guys, here come those maize and blue wing helmets on offense. That last drive, an absolute aerial assault for the touchdown, Jesse.
But it was a nice job in play calling, too, David, just giving the quarterback some easy looks and reads so he could go out and execute.
And he knew exactly where to go with the football. Everything looked really, really easy. He was hot. The ball was coming out of his hands. The defense better do something different.
Quarterback reacting to what the D is showing. He wants to throw. Quick strike complete.
I think in this situation, 2 minutes, trailing late, I think you got to be throwing to the sticks every time. I don't know if these short completions are going to get it done. You're just not going to have enough time to get down the field. So from a play calling standpoint, I think you want to think about being a little bit more aggressive.
Finds a tight end. They make the stop, but not before they do their work up top and pick up a first down. Clock stops momentarily for the first down. They'll hurry to the line. Trying to find his man on first down. He'll pull it down. And this sophomore quarterback learning when to use his legs to move the chains. They immediately call timeout, trying to preserve every second they can to try to rally here late. The Wolverines come to the line with a fresh set of downs. Looking to go up top on first down. And that is his 5th interception. If he comes out to try for 6, he'll be lucky. Trying to take it back. And he's going to take it all the way back. Touchdown, Aggies. The DB saw it. He thought, don't drop it, don't drop it. Then thought, don't get caught, don't get caught. And he didn't. the pick six.
Hey, these guys can play offense too now. Look at this. I showed you I can be a wide receiver. Coach might split him out at wide receiver next week after making that big play. But defense, great job making the interception. And you're right, doing something with it. Don't just slide down. Don't be content. Take that thing all the way back.
And the extra point is good. They're about to kick it away, and the defense probably can't wait to get back out there after the pick six. He'll bring it out. It's Warren. That is a decision he will likely regret. He brings it out of the end zone, and he's knocked down at the 10. Michigan ready to get that offense rolling again. This has been a really disappointing performance, David. No question about that, but they can find some positives.
Yeah, and every time you watch the tape, you know, Jesse, coaches are pointing out, look at this. This was open if we'd have just ran the details to the right route, hung on to the football. Little things can make a big difference.
Yeah, that's why they call it a game of inches, David. But I'll say this, if you're on offense, don't go on social media this week. It ain't going to be pretty after this performance. You've got to lock in. You've got to take the week of practice very seriously and find those positives that you can build off, David, you're talking about.
The receivers often will run their route based on a side adjustment. Trying to get to him. And this sophomore able to wreak some havoc and get the sack. Timeout is called, and the clock is down to 8.
Timeout, Michigan.
You make up the game plan and not a lot on the play sheet for this. 3rd and long from inside their own 20. Looking downfield, and he needs a bunch. And here comes the pressure, and there he goes down again.
Now, a 4th down.
Winning those individual 6-second battles every play, time after time after time after time, and that leads to a victory here.
And I love when teams go out and play like it's sudden death. Like if they lose the game, their entire season is over. This game wasn't for the national championship, but you wouldn't know that watching this winning team, David. Tremendous effort and tremendous execution.
I love competitive people. I love competitive coaches. I love competitive teams that they know that their job is to go out and get a W no matter where you play. You want to play in the parking lot? We'll go meet you. Great job of this team being ready, getting the W.
That's going to do it for us. For Jesse Palmer, David Pollack, our entire broadcast team, I'm Reese Davis. This has been another presentation of EA Sports College Football.